welcome, people of the world tuning in. We are Turn of the Millennials podcast. I'm Lindy.
I'm Stephanie.
And we talk about everything from 95 to 2005, where we came of age and we were best friends. And that was our relevant high school years.
At the turn of the millennium,
At the turn of the millennium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So today we have a guest.
Hi.
This is Lindsay, our friend from...
Our American friend.
Our American friend from Buffalo area.
Welcome, Lindsay.
So we have a funny story. So everything about this episode is going to be very, very, very 2000s this time.
Yes.
Everything we say from how Lindsay met everybody and everything, it's all a 2000s story. But we're going to also talk about back to school, the first day of school.
Yep.
Everything about back to school time, leading up to it, all of the fun stuff.
So since back to school is coming up very soon for us in Canada, and Lindsay, I'm assuming Americans go back sooner, right?
In some areas in the South, they go back end of August, but where I am near Canada, around September.
The Tuesday after Labor Day was basically when we went.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going, basically everything back to school. So first, actually, we should say how we met Lindsay, or how Lindsay kind of came into the fold, actually, because we didn't meet Lindsay until a couple of years ago, but she has
I didn't meet you until, was it 3 years ago? We went to Sabo?
Yeah, 3 years ago.
Was about 3 years ago? Yeah.
But
that was the first time I met you. Yeah.
She's known my sister since the ripe old age of like 13 or something.
How? I don't think I know this story. I was probably told this story and I probably forgot.
Actually, I think I met Danny, honestly, when I was like 9 or 10.
Wait, what year were you born?
I was born in 91.
Oh, okay.
30, actually, around back to school. So Danny and I met on an M2M message board.
M2M, the music group that was like Marit and Marion.
Most infamous for their song contributed to the Pokemon the movie soundtrack.
Yep.
Don't Say You Love Me.
Yes.
And Mirror Mirror, and they had a Disney Channel concert. I still have my M2M CDs.
Danielle might, I don't know.
We met on this message board, and they always have like the introduction threads and stuff, and I said I'm from Buffalo, and then Danny said, oh, I'm from like KW.
We drive there all the time. We visit Buffalo all the time,
And we just became, we became friends on the board. And then, when Facebook came out, we added each other, and then we were always kind of hoping that maybe we could arrange so that one day we're both at the Galleria Mall together. But then if there was an age difference, and back in like the late 90s, early 2000s, you didn't meet people in person that you met on the internet.
Did not meet strangers off the internet.
Danielle was born 83 and as Lindsay said, 91. So that's an 8-year difference. So a 13-year-old being like, I'm going to go to the mall to meet someone I met online who is basically 21 and says she's a girl from Canada.
I didn't want you guys to get arrested for like human trafficking.
Right, exactly. So it wasn't until many years later that we finally all met in person. Actually.
Yeah, I think it was 5 or 6 years ago. Yeah, we met at the outlet mall in Niagara Falls.
2020 seems to make me forget time because nothing happened in that year, so I don't count it. So it's like, oh, was that actually 2 years ago? Was it 3 years ago? Because 2020 didn't exist.
Yeah, I think it was 5 or 6 years ago that we like finally met in person, and then you were there with your dad, and then we all met, and then I just like got in the car with you as you drove around to your stores, and like thinking back, I'm like,
probably not a good idea.
Right? But I'm like, I've talked to this girl for like over half my life. Like, it's fine.
It's over a decade. We should be good by this point. Most friends know each other for decades in person. It's just you knew each other online for that long and just hadn't met
yet. I think that's starting to become the normal. Like there are so many people out there that have like best friends that they've never actually met in person, that like they're purely online friends.
Yeah.
Like, I personally don't really have any, but
gaming, TikTok. Well, now it's TikTok, but gaming, they've met them through Instagram just from chatting or something. They had interests. It's a lot more online.
I know like my stepson has like a lot of he games with a lot of his friends that he goes to school with, but he does game with some online friends. And I'm like, as long as you never fucking meet them in person, I don't care. But
you can't say that because then we would never also have met Lindsay's.
I mean, that's true, but I mean, use your best judgment and all.
Right. Under better circumstances, maybe the parents be there if you're under the age of 18. We meet in a public spot. Like you make a thing of it to make sure everyone's protected. Yeah.
Danger, y'all.
My parents probably would have called the cops. I'm the only daughter.
Right.
So
out of how many?
I have 3.
Okay.
Oh.
So
are you the youngest too?
I'm the middle.
Ah.
Middle child syndrome. Yeah.
Yeah, it's evident, right?
So that's how Lindsay kind of came into our little group. So today we are going to talk about, so kind of first, I think leading up to it, maybe all of the back to school like commercials, when you first saw those back to school commercials come on in the middle of summer, and you kind of got the anxiety that like summer was going to be over soon, but not quite.
Oh my God, you started to get so sad. Like every single day you were just sadder and sadder because you're just like, now I have 11 days, so I have to go back to school. Now I have 10 days, so I have to go back to school. And just, you tried to milk as much of it as you could. Like,
parents were like, oh, this weekend we're going to go shopping.
Back to school shopping. And you're like, no.
I had the opposite feeling. So like my birthday is always.
Are you a nerd?
I won a citizenship award in middle school.
You're adorable.
That's okay.
But my birthday is early September. So it was always either early September. So it was either right before Labor Day or right after Labor Day. So there was always the anxiety of trying to figure out when the first day of school was. Because if I had like, a summer birthday, I'd be happy. If I had a school year birthday, I'd be really, really sad because nobody could decorate my locker and, nobody celebrated my birthday. We'd always have to celebrate it the year before because technically it was a summer birthday or whatever.
That was always the best part too, is like when you're in high school. High school and middle school was when you were able to get your locker decorated, because I had a May, luckily, so I was just at the end of the year, so we were able to get the decorated, and it was that was always so fun. Or like when you do it with your friends,
I never had a
paper banner, and everyone would sign it if they knew you. So at the end of the day, you were like, oh, okay, all these people kind of signed my thing, cool. Didn't even know these people were my friends.
I would get happy
birthday.
Yeah, I'm a July 1st.
Oh, Canada Day.
So yeah, so I was always a few days after school ended. I remember actually like in the 80s and early 90s in like grade school, like we finished school like early, like middle of the June,
like 18th or 19th or something.
Yeah, like I was like 16th, 17th around there, and now it's like 27th, 28th.
Yeah,
so
right
I remember I never ever had, like I mentioned this in our trailer episode, I've never had a birthday with my school friends. I've never had a birthday party, except for when I turned like 16, a friend of mine threw a surprise birthday party for me. But that was the only birthday party I ever had with my school friends because my birthday's in the summer. So I never got the decorated locker either or anything like that. So
she feels your pain.
I would get happy birthday notes like in my yearbooks.
Yeah.
Like I have a few yearbooks, and there's a lot of people that would write like happy birthday messages to me and everything because they knew my birthday was in a few days. That was about it.
Yeah. I had a couple of years where my friends would celebrate my half birthday in March. So a couple of years I'd come in.
My half birthday is New Year's.
Oh.
So either way, no one's at school. And you get fireworks every year, whether it's your half
I get the day off too.
Birthday. So you always get the day off, and you always so
unless you work in a restaurant, then you don't.
Oh yeah.
So as you were saying, Lindy, earlier about the commercial for the back to school, I think all of us kind of remember the significant Staples commercial that launched the like back to school anxiety.
Can I sing it?
Yes.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
So
I love those commercials. They're so funny.
You instantly know what we're talking about. For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, basically a Staples commercial is these two kids and their dad going back to school shopping, and the kids are dragging ass behind the dad, being all sad.
They look so sad, and their dad is just jumping for joy.
Like, he's like driving. He's back to school, riding on the shopping cart through the store,
kicking his leg up in the air.
Yeah, it's the funniest commercial
throwing
ever.
In pencils and pens and binders and paper. Oh, in the cart. I love the back to school commercials. They're so funny.
And then there was also 5-star.
Oh, everybody wanted a 5. I never got a 5-star. They were so fucking expensive when I was younger.
$22, I think, for a binder, and that was even in the 90s.
Yeah, and that wasn't even including like the pencil case. That was literally just a binder, 5-star name.
Or there was the organizer. Yeah,
I got binder, the knockoffs. They work just as well, but
is that a Trapper Keeper in
sure.
American?
Yes,
okay.
Trapper Keeper.
Yeah, Trapper Keeper. I have a funny story about
the knockoff, Lindy. It was basically they were like, and they were also the 5-stars were like super. They claimed to be super durable, like they would not break, because usually if you bought the crappy ones, your zipper might break halfway through the year because of too many notes or opening it too many times. But you wanted 5-star because they were not supposed to break all year.
Oh yeah, they were legit.
Oh yeah.
Mine was navy, and very funny story about my Trapper Keeper. It was Lindsay's first foray into activism. So I was in 5th grade, so 2001, and on the school supply list, I know, I'm a baby millennial.
I know, I was like 2001, that was grade 11.
Oh my God, that was the start of my last year. Yeah, that was OAC.
Grade 13 for those of you who don't know, Ontario had grade 13, but then they dropped it. My year was when they dropped it. Continue.
Yes. So my older brother had a trapper keeper on his list, and he was 2 grades older than me. But on my list for 5th grade, they weren't on there. But my mom got me one anyway, because it's 5th grade, your first year of middle school. So, and everybody else in my class had one. But then the teachers decided, so my middle school, we were organized into teams. So there were like 8 5th grade teachers, but they, just to organize all the kids better, they would only handle like half of them. So my team's teachers, they decided that they didn't want the kids to have trapper keepers anymore. Well, my friends and I didn't like that. So we started to protest. So we kept using our trapper keepers, and we're like, they can't give us all detention. And so this kid named Bobby and I became like the ringleaders. There were like probably 150, 200 kids in our team. And like Bobby and I were the ringleaders. We had everybody like, at 9:00, we're all going to put our trapper keepers on the desk. And finally, after like a month, they gave in. I remember.
They gave in?
They gave in.
You won! Yay! Your first attempt, it was successful. Congratulations.
Yeah, that's amazing.
How old were you? Sorry, what grade was
I was 10. I was in 5th grade.
Good for you.
They were like, oh, we're going to give you all detention. And I'm just thinking, like, I was nerd, goody two shoes. Again, I won the citizenship board. But I believed so firmly in this, I was willing to risk detention.
How were your parents about it?
I remember one of my teachers calling my parents. My parents don't remember this.
My parents don't remember a lot of things as well.
I don't either.
Yeah, I was shaking. I went home just thinking, oh my God, Miss So-and-so is going to call my parents and I'm going to get so grounded, and my parents don't remember.
I think what do you remember? Did you get in trouble or?
Nothing happened. I don't know if it was a threat. I mean, just like an empty threat or something, but yeah, after.
Like your parents didn't yell at you for the phone call or?
No.
They were probably just like, let them keep the trapper keepers.
They probably agreed with you, and
silly,
they probably didn't want to bother you with it.
And they were probably more concerned with taking my brothers to hockey. Honestly, like, you're gonna call me over this, and like, here, the boys.
Your life is too busy, like.
Right. Yeah. I got other things to worry about than a freaking stupid trapper keeper and my daughter.
Yeah, like activism. Let them freaking use them.
And I held on to I used my trapper keeper all through middle school. I think until 8th grade. And then once I went to high school, I'm over trapper keepers.
We had the Hilroy because it was, me and Kevin did the research and looked. Hilroy, it was different. So we had the Hilroy Note Tote, which was essentially a trapper keeper, but it was just a different brand. And they called them Note Totes. That was the one that I had. That's the one I had. I think I had like a dark hunter green one or something like that, I think is what the color was.
I really wish that I had at least a binder from when I was in school. I don't think I remember any of them. I don't think I have any of them.
That was Kevin's college zipping binder because he has a bunch of his. Do you also remember we had the clear frosted binders where the spine of them was a different color and you had to have those ones?
Those were brittle AF, at least down here. You drop it and it would just shatter.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Do you remember having to get like several different colored duotangs?
Yes.
For your shit for like different classes.
Lindsay, you were saying about the duotang.
Yeah. Okay. The binders look a little like really crappy, like white, like foil fasteners or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, they're like little sticks, and then you just press them down, like you separate them, press them down, so they can
I think we just call them binders with fasteners, or like folders with fasteners.
Duotangs here.
She just learned duotang word she was saying the other day.
I was
really?
I was like watching Liz Trenier's Instagram story. I don't know why I follow her on her Instagram, but I love her content. She was explaining like entering Canada from the US, and she had everything in a duotang, and I like had to stop and look it up. I'm like, what's a duotang?
Do you also early 90s? I don't know if you might have had these, Lindsay. They were hard to find in the Canada after a bit, but we used to go to the States and get them. It was the Yikes pencils and the Yikes erasers and stuff. So they were the like triangle ones with different colors. And then the erasers were like those twisty fun erasers and stuff. And on the cover, it was like, people were like, had the funky, crazy hair waving up and like, yikes.
Yeah.
Those for me and like I think it was grade 3 and 4 were prime like utensils I needed.
Do you remember the pencils that they used to sell? I probably at like a buck or two, like aging myself, buck or two, that were like this long and they were flexible. that you could like bend them into like different shapes and shit, and it had like the world's worst eraser on the end of it.
Yeah.
It literally didn't erase anything. It just, whatever color it was, that's what color it turned the paper.
Yeah, I think those were bad in my school, my middle school.
Let's be real.
I love those. Those were fantastic. And they were like rubber. They were really interesting to sharpen.
The the pens when they had the erasers on them. If you remember, those were also terrible.
I still have one. I have one at work.
They would never, they do the same thing as that pencil. They would just kind of make the paper that blue, whatever. It didn't actually erase the pen.
Or the eraser that was half pencil eraser, half pen eraser.
Oh my gosh.
The pen eraser, and it did not work. Not even
Which
a little bit.
Apparently I read a meme somewhere learning that it's not actually supposed to erase pen and pen. It's actually supposed to erase two different paper types or something or whatever. I can't remember. Hold on. Yeah, I read this somewhere and I was like, what is this?
You don't have that information readily available, Stephanie.
I didn't think it was going to come up. It wasn't on my original notes. So the blue end is meant for erasing pencil marks on heavy grades of paper or dark marks. The soft end, orange or pink, is useful for light grades of paper, which the hard gridded side would tear apart, and also for precision erasing, such as removing a light stray mark from among dark marks.
So where did the whole, this side erases pen come from? What idiot in school spread that rumor to the entire world?
Maybe.
Sorry.
I don't know.
On this one, the picture, because it looks like it's pen on one side and then pencil on the other. So maybe someone did that, and maybe that's how.
Promotion is everything.
Right?
Advertisement is everything.
Advertisement is everything. So
it could have been implied, not necessarily flat out said, but it could have been implied.
Well, because it was kind of showing like the pen sort of looks like a darker mark, which would, dark versus light. So maybe that's what, but people intended it as pen versus pencil. People are,
Sorry, I had such a violent reaction to that. My childhood has been shattered.
Oh, I know. There's been so much out there recently that when I find them out from the internet, I'm like, you shattered my childhood. Unacceptable. Ducks fly. Ducks do not fly in a V. Geese do. When Kevin told me that because of the Mighty Ducks, ducks fly together, the flying V, that shattered my whole childhood. So I feel you. I feel you on that. Also, I found the epitome of being like back to school accessories were the smelly markers.
Oh yeah. Even though they tell you not to like smell smelly things, and then they come out with smelly markers.
Oh, like Mr. Sketch was my jam.
Those were the greatest.
They were fantastic.
There were some years I was allowed to get them, and then some years I wasn't. It all depended.
I only got them because like I got them like as like a birthday gift or a Christmas gift or something. They like my parents wouldn't just buy me them just because I wanted them and like they were cool for school or whatever.
I know. I never owned them, but every teacher had a pack of Mr. Sketch, especially in art class, and we'd fight over who got the blue raspberry one.
Of course.
Yes, because that one was the best.
Yeah. And nobody wanted the black licorice.
No.
I did. I love black licorice, so that one was nice. I bought my stepdaughter. She's really getting into art, so I bought her smelly, scentsy like art kit. Ooh. So all the crayons, the pencils, the pastels, the markers, the paint is all scented.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
And she made her dad a Father's Day card out of it, and it smells delicious. It's hanging on her fridge.
That's awesome. I remember the scented erasers.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Where they were shaped like a strawberry and it smelled like a strawberry.
Yeah.
Schnozberries taste like schnozberries. But like, yeah, no, those are awesome.
I was allowed those.
And then, or even the smell, they weren't supposed to be scented or anything, but the smell of those pencils that came with like the white pencils inside of it. And if you lose one, you're screwed.
Oh yeah.
Those, when you open the package of those, I don't know what it was, but they smelled like they were scented and they smelled like I don't know. Oh, they smelled good.
Story about one of those. I had one of those pencils. For some reason, I can't remember. We were going somewhere. I was doing outside. It was winter time. I had my jacket on, and for some reason I had it, but I didn't have the lid on it. And I jabbed myself with it, and there's still like a little black mark there on my hand from when I jabbed myself with it.
I sat on a pencil in like the 3rd grade, and I had to go down to the office and call my mom, because my mom worked at the school that I went to. She actually just retired this year from that same school. And congrats, Mom. And yeah, so my mom had to come down to the staff bathroom with me and with tweezers, and she had to pull this piece of pencil lead out of my butt cheek.
Oh my gosh.
as I sat on it and it broke because it was a small, someone had like sharpened it all the way down to the eraser and it was sitting on the carpet and it had been sticking up somehow. Like maybe it was caught in the carpet or something. I don't know. Yeah. And I sat on it and the lead pencil part broke off. And like my mom worked at the school. I wasn't going to let anybody else touch my butt. Like, so my mom like laughing the whole time and I'm like crying because I'm like, stop, it's not funny. But obviously it is. I probably still have like a mark or something, but so
my pencil
story. What was your pencil story?
Okay.
Yes, your pencil.
I was in 9th grade. I was in earth science. This was before I realized I was going to become a geologist. And I was in earth science class and we had an assignment where we had to draw like a map of how to get from our high school to our house. So I went to the Dollar Tree and
that sounds a bit shady.
Like your teacher needs to know how to find you.
Like your teacher needs to know where you live.
Stalking you.
That was always on like our attendance cards and everything.
It is, but it wasn't necessarily privy to the teachers. It was to like the principal for certain matters, but
and reception
that
staff.
Is true.
Anyway, sorry, continue.
You're fine. So I went to the Dollar Tree and I wanted to make my scale huge because I'm not very good at super tiny things. So I just went to the Dollar Tree next door or whatever. And I got like this massive poster board and I started doing it. I was almost done. I couldn't make a straight line. There's a main road that I was trying to do. It wasn't really important to the route, but you need context. I couldn't draw a straight line. So I tipped my pencil, I flipped my pencil over so the eraser was tapping the poster board. And I'm tapping it, trying to figure out how I can make this line like absolutely straight. I needed to go perfectly east to west because that's how this road was. And then I got frustrated and I just swore and I slammed my hand down, forgetting that the eraser wasn't facing up. And I just slammed my hand on the tip and I just screamed bloody murder because it hurt. Oh, my mom came in and she's like, what happened? And I'm like, look at my hand. And I had to finish the map because it was due the next day. And I came in with my arm bandaged because it was like right here, like right in the webbing. So there wasn't like anywhere like a normal Band-Aid could do it. My mom worked in a hospital, so she kind of like helped me like tape it up. And my teacher goes like, what the hell happened now? Because in that class, I stapled my hand to a piece of paper.
Oh my God, some kid did that like when I was in like grade 5 or something.
Yeah, not very
like stapled a piece of paper to themselves.
Yeah, totally accidental. Like he had like the staple gun thing, and I wasn't paying attention. And but I'm very, very clumsy. I'm like
I thought I was accident prone.
Who was that from Hey Arnold's Harold? No, not Harold. Eugene with the tin can.
I don't remember.
Oh gosh, it's gonna bother me. There was a character in Hey Arnold who was super accident prone, and his catchphrase was "I'm okay." So I come in, and he goes, "Now what happened?" And I'm like, I better get a good grade on this project because I finished it and I did get my straight line and I got 100. I found out that I got the highest grade in the class because he hung it up on like the wall. And he goes, your accident was worth it.
In this whole like temper tantrum you had of not being able to figure out how to draw a straight line.
Yeah.
Did you not think of a ruler?
I was using it, but it was just like, it wasn't, at 180 degrees. It kept going like slightly like askew. It wasn't perfectly east-west. It was kind of like, northeast.
So
yeah,
you should have asked your dad if he had a level. It would have told you because no matter how it's sitting, it will tell you if it's level. Next time.
Yes, next time when she goes back to the past to relive 5th grade.
Well, no, I use my phone now and I use the level app.
Right, there you go. Exactly.
Okay, same concept, but there you go.
And that's hilarious. So like 8 years later, I'm in college and I'm in my geology classes and I see this white-haired man and go, wow, that looks like my earth science teacher from high school. And he's auditing the class that I'm taking for a grade. He goes, slam your hand into any pencils lately? I'm like, shut up.
You suck.
So I haven't been able to live that down.
Jeez, what a coincidence.
That's too funny.
Anyway.
Damn teachers.
I found a stackable pencil that I got from Zini Brainy. Do you remember that store? It was on the Boulevard in Buffalo. I
think so.
It used to be where I want to say Trader Joe's is now. Yeah, right off the highway.
Yeah. Yeah.
They used to have like the coolest, it was like a craft store, but it was like Klutz kits and all like the cool arts and crafts kits that you couldn't find anywhere else. And they had a Hello Kitty section. So I got these Hello Kitty stackable like colored pencils. This is not the original one. I found this one at a Sanrio store that closed, but it was in Times Square several years ago.
Sanrio stores, they're awesome.
Right? I'm like, I had this when I was in 3rd grade. I need another one. So I just bought it.
Hey, I'm all down for finding your old 2000s, old 90s stuff. That's what I'm finding now. Cause I'm like, I can afford it now. Not like when I was a kid and I couldn't afford it. I can afford it now. So I'm buying it all.
And your parents can't tell you no.
Exactly. It's my money. Gel pens.
Yay.
Anyone remember the gel pens? Along with
yeah.
the black paper that went with the milky ones.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Those were,
absolutely.
I loved having, like, I remember having a black notebook with like the lined paper and everything, and you'd always want to write in it, and teachers like, I can't see that. And I'm like, you can see it just fine.
I remember getting a set of that for my birthday. I'm pretty sure when I got it was like 6th grade or something. I think my best friend Ashley got it for me. Because I saw like all of my friends had them, and my parents like, no, they're too fucking expensive. We're not getting them. Like, they're ridiculously expensive, like too fucking bad. We have other things we have to spend our money on.
Yeah.
Not in that manner. That's me adding those words. And my parents were awesome. Yeah. And so my friend Ashley bought me the black pad and like a pack of like 5 gel pens or whatever, and it was the best fucking birthday present ever. I fucking loved it. And I think I went through the entire pad in like a weekend. And then I had to ask my parents to buy me more black paper, and they're just like, no. It's like, fine, I will find something else to write on them with. So I just wrote like on my jeans and stuff.
On your hand?
On my hand,
oh
like
my gosh.
Glitter
it was like the tattoos.
Yeah. I remember
a
group of girls that would go around the neighborhood asking if you wanted a gel pen tattoo. Oh,
that's awesome.
It was like 25 cents a tattoo, which was pretty hefty price, you know.
You gotta hustle. You gotta hustle. Even see, they were teaching us how to hustle from that age. So millennials just know how to hustle.
Yep, I got so many tattoos.
Do you remember Holly when she would like draw on us with like she'd have like her pack of colorful Sharpies, and she'd give us like very realistic looking tattoos.
They were awesome.
I know, they were pretty cool. But I remember that with the gel pens and stuff.
And then lastly, and I feel like our accessories was you in like elementary school, you were the bomb. Yeah, I'm saying the bomb. If you had the 100 pack of Crayola crayons with the sharpener.
Yeah. You knew your family
was like
had money if you
balling.
Had the 100 pack of crayons.
Never got that.
I
crayons.
Can't remember who in my class had those. I think a couple kids did, but
I think we had it, but like it was because it was
who
me and Danielle shared, and I think Grandma might have gotten it for us or whatever, because Grandma was the one that always spoiled us. And I think, but I also think if we did, we probably got it from the States anyways, because it would have been cheaper to get it in the States than it would have been here.
I think we might have gotten one, like me and my sisters, but we weren't allowed to take it to school if we did.
No, it was to stay at home.
Like it was to stay at home. Like you do not take that to school.
No.
I'd always get like what was required, on the school supply list. I'm like, can I get the 100? Like Sarah has them. I was like, no, you go to Sarah's house and use hers.
Yep, that was the it. Why can't I have this? Because so and so has them. Well, then go to their house and use it.
Yep.
If so and so jumped off a bridge, would you do it?
Yes, I would. Okay.
Yeah, right. How high is the bridge?
Is there water? Like what are we talking here? I need more context.
Right.
Am I falling into feathers? Tapioca? Like.
See, we learned at an early age to question things, guys. When they did this, we learned it to question. Like, why are we jumping? Who are we jumping? What is underneath? Like,
you need to question things. Yeah,
exactly.
Question everything. Anyway,
cool. I want to ask the pencil boxes. Did you have? I forget who made them. Not caboodles. They were like the bottom part was a solid color.
But I do remember. I remember there was the solid squares came out after a certain point. But I always a lot of times I had the zip ones that were just a bag.
Hard pencil cases. Wait, I'm so excited.
What is the surprise? I can't.
Oh my god, motherfucker! Yes, with like little bump, like the bumpy top.
Yep, it has the bumpy top.
Yes. Who made that? I forget who.
It was imported by Walmart. It doesn't have a name.
No, there was a specific brand that was doing them too.
Didn't like Hilroy make them or something?
Maybe. I feel maybe
or
Hilroy.
At least they made like a version of them.
Yeah, I have to look this up.
I know you'd get them at like Byway and shit, but
dollar stores now you can get them.
Yeah, so my classmates and we would take our Elmer's glue, the liquid Elmer's glue, and pour like a thin layer over it and then sprinkle like glitter.
Yeah. I thought you were meant to like put it on your hand and you peel it off your hand.
Oh yeah, we would do that too.
Same with like getting like a safety pin and putting it through your finger skin.
Yeah.
I didn't like that. That was usually on Remembrance Day when the poppies, because they always forced you to wear a poppy so the kids would take the pins from those and do it.
For them. Now they have stickers for them.
Yeah, because they realized how many kids
with pins.
Exactly.
Are those weapons?
Hey, some adults can't be trusted with pins either.
Okay, actually, me too. The girl that stapled her finger to a paper. So
Space Maker might have made them.
Maybe.
Yeah, it was Space Maker because I found this one.
Yeah, and
I never had these ones. Oh, I always had like the really thick fabric ones that you that came with like the 3 metal holes, and you can put them in your binder.
Okay,
I got those.
There it is.
Yeah, that looks
yes, Space Maker. Yeah,
Space Maker. It's like I remember seeing the name on the top of it.
And there was like a hierarchy of colors in my class. Like everybody
what was the top color.
Like I think blue was top.
So what was the shitty color?
Like black or something.
Green.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. No. The all white. All white was the lamest one.
Okay, because like kids don't mind. Like black and white were kind of just like boring. I know, but I'm like black and white colors were like. As a kid, you didn't care about those colors.
Yeah, you wanted like green or orange or blue or purple or pink or red. Like you wanted a color. Whereas in black and gray and white were shades.
So maybe they would make them for like an adult who might have needed them, or those were kind of maybe what those were. But the kids were like, no, I want the purple. I want the blue. Yeah, professional.
Purple is my jam. I love purple. Yeah, I think those were
I don't remember what my favorite color was growing up. I think it was purple.
My favorite color was still purple.
I had orange in middle school, green in elementary school, and then high school. I don't really think I had a color. Was it still orange? Okay.
It was orange.
It was still orange? Okay, because I knew
as far as I know, it's still orange.
Long since been pink. Come on now. Actually, I apparently liked pink as a young child too. My mom said I always loved pink back as a little kid. But what little girl didn't like pink usually? Pink or purple variation from the 80s.
Wait, did Space Maker make a brown one?
Oh,
I think they made brown. That might have been. It was a neutral color. It was like the only time neutrals weren't acceptable in the 90s.
Right.
With the brown lipstick and everything. So
yeah, it was acceptable everywhere else, just not in the kid realm.
Oh.
So fashion.
Fashion. Oh my gosh. Nice. Going shopping for your back to school first day of class
outfit was the thing.
The top most important priority at the end of the summer.
Yeah.
Like you had to get the most perfect fucking outfit.
It had,
and one year I ended up getting the same outfit in the class as a girl that I fucking hate. And I cried about it.
Oh, that's funny.
I fucking hate her.
I do remember was it grade 10 or 11? It was those teal Gap sweaters. Or like that's the baby
like the pastel colors.
Yes,
like Gap
the purple.
I never owned one.
Yeah, the pink, and all the girls had them, and they got them from Gap Kids in the extra large sizes.
And I just stole mine from like you and other friends.
I didn't actually have one of those ones. I got an orange one later on because we would go shopping in the States, and we got it at the Gap outlet in the Niagara Falls Outlet Mall. It was an orange with blue writing.
Yeah,
I remember the fleece vests. And like Old Navy's fleece.
Old Navy performance fleece. Yes, because everything they did. The zip ups, the fleece vests.
Khakis.
Yeah.
That was Gap, but all of them.
Yeah. My 5th grade outfit. My 5th grade picture was in a purple Old Navy performance fleece. I had a white t-shirt and I had like the Old Navy convertible cargo pants.
Yes.
And I had my platform sneakers, like the black and white platform sneakers.
That's awesome.
I felt like the bomb diggity. Like nothing.
Not just the bomb, but the bomb diggity.
Yeah.
Like nobody could ruin my day, possibly.
I remember
my first day.
My grade 11 outfit is the one that I remember specifically because it's also in the picture I was wearing. But it was these black, like it was when the big, skater jeans. It was from Randy River because girls didn't really have like baggy jeans for girls as often in them. So I had to go to Randy River and buy these like black baggy like kind of pants or whatever with this white, not quite spaghetti strap, but almost spaghetti strap tank top with like this little dragonfly on it.
Era of like All Saints with like the baggy pants
with the baggy cargos and the tank tops. Exactly. Yep. Grade 11.
I love that look. I still love that look.
That's kind of it, but it was black, not cargo khaki color. They were the black, but that same kind of look is what it was. And that one was, and I had this Sheridan from Passion's haircut, the super short.
Yep, I remember that.
That one was my like bomb diggity year that I remember my outfit.
I think like the one that sticks out in my mind the most is my grade 4 one. So it would have been grade 4, whatever. Anyway, so it would probably been early 90s, not quite 95 to 05, but it was because it was awesome. It was a black t-shirt that had like fluorescent colored short sleeves.
Ooh.
And it was made of a different fabric. It was like, I don't know, kind of like a thick tissue paper type fabric. And it had like an awesome, like multicolored fluorescent color design on the front. And it had a matching skirt with ruffles. And the middle ruffle was the exact same fluorescent yellow color as my sleeves. Okay. I had the same like funky ass fluorescent color, multicolored shoes, wearing one fluorescent orange or green sock and one fluorescent yellow sock. This was the fucking look when I was in like the 4th grade.
90s. That is so
I
90s.
also had a mushroom cut. Okay. Am I setting the picture for you?
Be still my heart.
Recess. First fucking recess of the year. My friends go and hang out in the pathway where we're not allowed to hang out. Minding my mother is a teacher at the school. We're hanging out. I climbed the little chain link fence and I'm sitting on top of it. And we're talking or whatever. The bell rings. I go to jump down and my underwear catches on the fence. And I literally hang there for a second by my underwear, front fucking wedgie, for like a couple seconds. And then it rips and I fall to the ground. And I pick it up and I'm like, oh my God. And I'm way at the back of the field. Like I have to go across the entire fucking field where all these kids are going and filing into the school, and I have to go all the way to the office, get them to page my mom, take me home, which we live across the street from the school, so I could change my underwear because I ripped it doing something I wasn't supposed to.
Oh my God. But luckily you lived across the street. So it's not like any of this stuff is hard. Like when you sat on something or everything, you could go home across the street. It was not far.
Or like the time I sliced my hand open trying to open a can of Zoodles for my lunch one day, wrapped my hand in paper towel, go over to the school. Mom, I need help. What the fuck did you do?
Did any of the subscriptions to magazines?
Beneficial. Oh, I was never allowed.
Okay, because they're always the back to school edition of the magazines, you know, that where they'd have all the fashions or the Delia's catalog inside it or whatever, or like, you know, the back to school editions.
YM, L Girl, Cosmo
Teen
Girl,
People,
I had them all.
Twist.
Yeah.
Oh, that didn't mean I didn't buy them. I totally bought them. I just never had subscriptions to any of them.
I think
I had a YM subscription and that was it.
Oh, that's not true. I think I got either a 17 magazine or like a Teen People subscription for Christmas one year. I think like a couple years in a row, my mom got me a magazine subscription.
I got a Teen and we had a YM. I remember YM and Teen, that was it. But I loved buying Teen People because that one seemed like the best quality of like stuff that was in it. I loved Teen People.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, at one point I had 4 subscriptions to teen magazines, and I think it was just keep her quiet. So
right?
I liked it so much.
I was such a tomboy that like I really didn't care about reading about makeup and fashion. Like I really didn't give a shit about it. So I found like that was YM and 17 and Cosmo Girl were like a lot of stuff I just didn't really care about. It was too girly for me.
Yeah.
So I think that's what my draw was to Teen People, because they were actually talking about the lives of these
celebrities
that were my age and doing these things, not talking about like, oh, what makes you look thinner and what makes you look younger, wear makeup that makes you look 3 years older, like, you know.
I think YM was my favorite. Like I didn't have a sister, and
I have a couple in my box.
Oh my gosh.
I think I've got a Cosmo Girl, I think I have a 17 and a Teen People from like early 2000s.
What else do we have for fashion? Ooh, the one strap crossbody backpack.
Loved mine. I got
with
my
like the Velcro, or sometimes it clipped or whatever. They all had some kind of crossbody.
I bought mine in March of 2001 at United Colors of Benetton in Italy. And I still have it. I love the shit out of that bag.
Mine wasn't a backpack, but I remember I went to the Tim Hortons camp and they were giving out, it was like these oversized fanny packs almost. And one of the counselors was wearing it over his shoulder that way. So of course the rest of the summer.
Belt satchel.
So of course, all the rest of us were like, ooh, we're going to do that. So I did that one. And then I didn't get a backpack until a few years later, but I was like, this is me cool. Cause at least in the summertime, I could still do it. And then I think I had an Old Navy one for the across shoulder backpacks, but then we realized they were terrible on our shoulders.
We still have one that we use. It's like a smaller one or whatever. We use it for when we take like the dog for walks. We take like our treats and our water bottles.
I might be confusing these with messenger bags.
They were all of the same kind, because I think I also had a messenger bag, but also the one
I bought was just an over shoulder.
Yeah,
it wasn't a backpack.
There's one where it's like it looked kind of like a square backpack, but then when it came up, it just velcroed on the front of them
or anything.
Yeah.
I mean, you could like carry it like a briefcase or whatever, but you couldn't put like over your shoulders or anything.
Yeah, it was just one. It was one strap, kind of. It was like a fanny pack that you put over your shoulder, basically.
Okay,
but just in backpack form.
Have those, but I had the messenger bag that like hung by your hip. Oh my gosh, throughout the alignment of my back.
I didn't have a one shoulder backpack. I had like a futuristic Millennium backpack that was like black and silver. I don't remember where I bought it. I don't remember what brand it was, but it was like black and silver. It looked very futuristic. But this thing was a piece of shit. By Christmas, half of it was duct tape because, God forbid, stores sell backpacks throughout the school year. Try finding a backpack throughout the fucking school year.
You know, what was that? What was with that? Like most kids would break their backpack halfway through the year and you couldn't find them unless you went to Bentley.
It's still to this day. Like when I went to Giant Tiger, I think we only carried backpacks on the floor till maybe October. Maybe. And then like we had to make room for Halloween and stuff. And then like they would sit in the basement. Like we'd still have them, but they'd sit in the basement. Yeah. Like, I just think it was so stupid. Like it was so frustrating to have to deal with this fucking backpack all the time.
Yeah.
And
there was
not be able
also
to find a new one until like the next year.
JanSport,
so I think the next year I bought 2.
Or the world famous canvas backpacks.
Yep.
Those were the other 2 that were really popular. Or patches all over them.
Yeah.
And then JanSport had like a lifetime warranty. So a lot of parents were really wanting to buy that because it wouldn't break and they wouldn't have to replace it every year.
My boyfriend had a monogram, or was it Land's End? It might have been Land's End. Like a monogram backpack. He's had it since he was like 6, has his initials on it. He just tossed it. He's 32.
I would have kept it just for sentimental.
Just for sentimental, right? Yeah.
The straps were destroyed. He's like, I'm like, why are you holding on to this? He goes, I don't know, because it's still useful. I'm like, it's hanging on by literally a thread.
Literal threads. Like,
how dare you encourage him to throw away something that has been part of his life for how many years?
I know, I'm so terrible.
I'm a sentimental person though. Like I'm surprised I'm not a hoarder, to be honest. I might be a little bit.
I am with some things.
So a few other things I had on here. For recess activities, Pogs or Schlocky up here.
Hell yeah. Schlocky? Fuck yeah. The best thing about Schlocky is that you lean them against the wall and they help you get up onto the roof of the school.
I don't think we had Schlocky down here. I don't remember playing it. If we did.
You know what it is though, right?
Isn't it just like mini sticks?
Kind of, yeah, but it's in like a wooden, there's like a wooden board thing and you have to put it,
you play it in,
and you have to put it through the holes, and then maybe sometimes there's a piece of wood in the middle that you got to try and get through a hole as well.
There's like 3 holes in the middle piece of the wood and you have to get it through one of those and then through the next one.
And it's with a cut off hockey stick too.
Yeah, so it's literally with just like the end of a broomstick without the broom. Like it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And it's a puck. So it and
the
holes are only like maybe an inch bigger than the puck.
So it was like
it's difficult to play, but it got competitive and very popular. I think my school had like 4 Schlocky boards because like a dad from the school or whatever built them, and it got to the point where like they had to ban them. They had to take the boards and lock them up because kids were like beating each other up over it.
Oh my god.
Same with Pogs.
Pogs had to get banned. Yeah.
Like Pogs had to get banned too because like it started fights.
Yep.
People were whipping them with the slammer. Like with
some
the slammer?
Especially when the kids could afford the really heavy metal slammers. Those getting hit with one of those hurt. Like I got hit with one of those by accident. It wasn't being aimed at me. It hit me.
Some of the metal ones had jaggeds too.
Yeah.
Do you remember
never
those?
hit by one of those, thank God.
The metal ones had the jagged ends or whatever, just so they would look like fireballs or whatever. There was a guy I was watching on Instagram that's had Pogs, or someone sent it to him, and him and his wife were like playing it as date night. And I was like, I want to play Pogs so bad.
We did a lot of hacky sack down here.
Sometimes it depends on the crowd.
For us, I think that was a little bit more later teen years. Like when we were hanging out with St. Cinnamons all the time, like I never really played hacky sack until like then, and that was late
2003.
2003, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
01 to 03. But they were still there because I do remember, like, because you had with Clueless, you had kind of that stoner skaters, and they were the ones who play hacky sack in those days.
Yeah.
So it was still around back then, but it wasn't necessarily something that we played all the time.
It wasn't something that we played. I think it was played at the trailer quite a bit, but I never really partook. Is that a word? Partook?
Partake? Yeah, I think so.
I think so.
Past tense. Yeah, okay.
So with recess, we also had like lunchtime and snacks and stuff that you also
got
to have
nutrition breaks.
Right? Nutrition breaks. But we didn't have
other nutrition breaks. Yeah.
Let's be real. They were not nutrition. They were Dunkaroos. They were Gushers. They were fruit by the foots. It was sugar and juice boxes and
pizza Fridays and sub Fridays. I loved it when our school did subs.
Oh my gosh.
Awesome. The smell of the cafeteria when you'd walk in on a pizza day.
Oh my
gosh. The fucking best.
They would just bring it into our rooms at one of my schools. You would sit in your room to eat lunch, and they would just bring it into your room.
When we were up until grade 3, when we were like primary students, like kindergarten to grade 3 or primary, and we weren't allowed to eat in the cafeteria because it was just the gym, so it was only allowed at so many tables with so many students. So it could only accommodate grades 4, 5, and 6. What us K to 3, we would sit in our classes and eat lunch.
Oh wow!
And when it was pizza day, they bring the pizzas to us. Yeah.
And Lindsay, I don't know if you have this, and it wasn't as prominent then as it is now. The peanut allergy.
We didn't have any allergy rules, but there were definitely some kids that had peanut allergies.
There was like one kid that might have had a peanut, and he would use peanut allergy, and they'd eat in their room, and you just weren't allowed to have peanut butter in that room, but everyone else was still allowed to have it in the school type thing. But it wasn't prominent. It was 1 or 2 kids in the whole school.
Yeah. Same with us. Like that was when I was going to school. Like it was the same thing. There was like they had a separate. If there was a lot of kids that had a peanut allergy or food allergy, they would all eat in the same isolated room. Or if it was like 1 or 2 kids, they would set a table up for them or whatever in the office, and they could go eat lunch down there, but then they have to eat by themselves, and that's just not fair these days, right? Yeah. And but also, like, I don't see why they can't have like separated rooms for peanut. It wasn't really
airborne either back then. It was mostly if they ingested it. Now some kids that come within like 500 meters of the peanut, and they're going into, shock.
Maybe it's the generation, like the people who had kids while we were teenagers were the helicopter parents that
the Gen Xers?
Prohibited, that wouldn't go near fertilized yards and wouldn't eat this and wouldn't touch that and wouldn't go near this. All their kids were fucking born with these goddamn allergies because they weren't exposing themselves to things to give them an immune system. That's why there's so many kids out there with allergies these days, because fucking pussy, like you babied them. I know like they're babies.
The powers that be tell you all the time, like, this is good for kids, but then this is not. Like peanuts at one point was not good for apparently to give kids under the age of a certain 7 months, but now all of a sudden it's okay. Like there's been all these rules over the years of when it's been okay to give a kid this and when it's been okay to give a kid that, because then it gives this. So when you're trying to follow all these powers of be,
science in fact changes with time and research, right?
No, so absolutely, but that's what I'm saying.
I get that, but I don't necessarily see I see like all the allergy warnings and all of things. I just see more and more kids with peanut allergies these days. The more we try to fight it, the more kids are getting it. So,
well, I'm also wondering if it's maybe not them following science. It's just like the super toxic Instagram wellness community. I can't eat gluten.
That very much too. Yes.
The misinformation you can't eat about gluten. That is disturbing.
Yes.
And there's so many people out there that use, I can't eat gluten as,
and then have a beer.
Yeah, they use it as a cover. Don't be a dick. Don't use someone else's disease to benefit yourself. Like that's asking for karma.
Yeah. And like, I mean, not to gatekeep or anything, because everybody's like condition is different, but like usually you can tell based on how somebody talks to the server if they have it. Because if I go out to eat, I'm like, hi, I'm really sorry, I can't eat gluten.
That's how I knew you were real. You apologize for your disease. And I'm like, you don't need to apologize for that. I will accommodate you however best I can.
But when you use it as a crutch, you can tell forget it.
The fakers are the ones that are dicks about it.
At least in my elementary school, like if like there were like students that had like a broken arm or whatever, they could choose not to eat in the cafeteria, so they wouldn't like get bumped like against anybody.
Yeah.
This is terrible, but like if somebody would have a broken arm or a cast on or whatever, kids would get excited and offer to volunteer to help get their food if they wanted to like order, because then you were cool. You didn't have to sit in the cafeteria with like an adult. You were unsupervised, like helping your friend like eat their food and stuff.
So yeah, I have a very similar story about that. So when I was 8 years old, it was May 24. We were at the trailer and my dad had loaded up the van with our fire pit ashes, and we were driving them to the back of the campground to dump them in the ash dump where you're supposed to do that. And so me and my sisters, I don't know, my dad let me do this. It was really dangerous. I was wearing a pair of duckies, and we were sitting on the side of the van with the door open, the sliding door open, and we were dragging our feet along the road because you can only go like 10 kilometers an hour in this campground. So it's really slow.
Yeah.
So we get to about 100 meters from the dump site, and a huge rock. I was sat closest to the tire, and a huge rock caught my foot and just like stopped my foot, and it went under the van, and didn't notice until I was pulled out of the van. I got pulled out of the van. My sister Kyla was like, "Dad, stop!"
Oh,
and
no.
he stopped. I kind of turned. I'm like, the fuck? Like an 8-year-old kid. I'm like, what is going on? Like I didn't even register at this point.
Yeah.
And all I remember is my sister Erin sitting in the front seat being like, "Dad, reverse." And he reverses. She's like, "Stop." He's like, "What the fuck is going on?" He's like, "You ran over Lindy's foot."
Oh my God.
So he jumps out of the van. He picks me up, takes me to a picnic table that's nearby, and takes off my ducky very, very slowly. People who don't know what duckies are, they're kind of like Crocs, but they don't have holes. And they were more fashionable than Crocs. They were prettier than Crocs.
Much more better for like rainstorms than Crocs. They were like almost like short rain boots.
And exactly, like the boot part, or like the shoe part of the boot.
Yeah.
And yeah, so he took that off, and my foot was all scratched and kind of limp and whatever. And I didn't even feel the pain until like he took my shoe off, and I'm looking at him like, what the, and I'm like, okay, it kind of hurts now. Like it kind of hurts. We get back in the van, and he speeds like 20 kilometers an hour back to the trailer. The kids jump out. I think my sister ran ahead because she could take shortcuts. So she ran ahead to the campsite, told my mom what happened. And so she already had like a huge thing of ice ready for me. She jumps in the van. I'm sitting on her lap in the front of the car without a seatbelt, with my foot out the window with this big thing of ice on my foot, as my dad speeds out of the campground, leaving my other sisters behind, who are 9 and 11. Okay?
I'm sure they talked to someone that you didn't realize.
The whole way, the 20 minutes to the hospital, my mom is yelling at my dad, how stupid can you be? Like, what is wrong with you? How did you let this happen?
Of course.
Like, just
it happened.
So we get to the hospital, the x-rays, bandage, blah, 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 whatever. Turns out I was fucking lucky, because if my dad hadn't stopped when he stopped, it would have broken the main bone in my leg.
Ooh.
And I would have had like massive physical therapy. I would have had to learn to walk again. I would have walked with a permanent limp. I was very lucky.
Yeah.
And my mom was mad at my dad for weeks. So anyway, the school part of the story is I had to go sit in a wagon. My mom and sisters had to take me to school in a wagon. And like I had crutches, but they wanted me to stay off of it as much as possible.
Yeah.
So I had the wagon. I wasn't allowed to go outside for recess. Mind you, this is like 4 weeks between May and June when it's nice out. We just got over winter. I have to fucking sit inside. But I had a ton of friends that volunteered to stay inside with me so I wouldn't be lonely.
Oh.
Remember that, like my friends having to help me, like, or would stay in the room with the room with me to eat lunch with me because I couldn't make it all the way down to the cafeteria.
Yeah.
Same concept with the broken arm, right?
Yeah.
Except we didn't have like cafeteria food. We didn't have like lunch food served out. Like you had to bring your own lunch.
Which in your own lunch, did you guys ever have your own like matching lunchbox or thermos combo stuff?
Yes, of course. I'd Beauty and the Beast in kindergarten.
Of course I did.
Of course. What I had a blue one, and what was it? I can't remember. Although now I have one. It's a metal one that's a Powerpuff Girls. Ooh. Actually, what it was is I actually it came with a puzzle, and then it came with the lunchbox on the outside. So I was like, oh, I'll keep this one.
There you go. Win-win. All right, Lindy, what do you got?
Found this baby in a garage sale like about 9 years ago.
Hot Wheels. Yes.
Whoa.
And that is, you can tell, a legit like 90s. I'm trying to find.
You want to know why, Steph? Because look, it still has the papers that came with it, and the warranty, and the choking hazards.
Oh my gosh. That's hilarious. I want to find, but I need to either on eBay or when the States opens up, going to thrift stores, seeing if I can find one of those really cheesy old 90s water bottles that you would get from like Hills, where it had like just the straw inside and just really cheesy with Ninja Turtles and stuff. Yeah. And
I totally remember those.
And they'd have those things where you could put it on your, Lindsay, you might have one, where you put it on your hip. It was the circle piece that was additional. You could put it around the outside of it, and it had this really cheesy plastic clip that you could use to hang the water bottle off of your pants or like something.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that.
It's not an original.
That's okay. I'm still excited.
What's she gonna bring us?
Right? So many treasures.
It's so shocking.
My cousin made me this. At one point it said exercise. I thought you said extra fries.
Nice.
But it has a straw and the little...
That right?
Little belt buckle thing?
Yes.
That's awesome.
I was looking on eBay and they had Ninja Turtles ones.
Do you remember those rubber spout things you stuck in a pop can?
Yes.
In a can of pop? Sorry, can of soda.
Soda pop.
Oh, you guys are pop? Okay,
yeah,
good,
we're
you're in the north, right?
If you go east of Rochester, it's soda.
But yeah, they were little spouts, and it was rubber, and you would just fix it into the hole of the pop can. And it was just, non-spill, and it kept the bugs and stuff out of your can of pop and stuff. Yeah, I want some. I still want to use those, and I'm trying to find them. Or the bottle-shaped ones that it fits over the pop can, and it turns your bottle, or turns it into a bottle.
The cheesy New Kids on the Block, or like...
Turn it around. What? Let me see. Yeah, those.
Yes.
Yeah,
you can find them on eBay, but they're
those.
still charging for like 30, 40. And I'm like, I don't want to spend 30, 40 or that. So I'm trying to check out some of the thrift stores and stuff. But up here, we don't have enough old stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So
are we on to your story?
Oh, yeah. So I have
your first day of grade 7 and 9.
I have 2 fun back to, like first day of school stories. They were kind of hilarious and terrible. So my first day of grade 7, we had literally that weekend moved to a brand new townhouse or house or whatever it was. I can't remember. But we moved to a new place. I think it was over that Labor Day weekend. we registered at the same school because it was still in the same region, but I was now in a bus area versus before I was in a walking area or get there yourself. So I had no idea when the bus was coming because we just moved there. We didn't get the pre-letters. So missed the bus, had no idea. So the only one that was around was my stepdad, and my mom would have taken the car that day to go to work. So all that my stepdad had was a motorcycle. So I had to show up to my first day at middle school, which is of course a new school as well, because we go grade 6. Usually most of them us here is public, K to 6.
It wasn't JK and SK either. It was literally just kindergarten.
Yeah, just kindergarten to grade 6, then 7, 8, and then 9 to 12, or OAC at the time, but mine, we took it out. So here I am, first day of grade 7 at a new school. So some kids I know, some I don't, driving up on this motorcycle,
like 12 years old,
in front of everybody. Because of course, the first day of school, everyone's still sitting outside trying to, before they go into classes,
each other and seeing their friends,
their new outfits and new friends that they haven't seen. And I'm showing up on this motorcycle, making a big noise. And of course, first few days, I was like, "You're the girl who showed up on the motorcycle, aren't you?" "Oh, you're." And I was like, "Oh."
I would have got off that motorcycle, Steph, and I would have fucking owned it. Just strut like you own the fucking place. Be like, "Yeah, bitch, don't mess with me."
Right. Yeah, my stepdad has his motorcycle.
He's part of the biker army. What? You don't know. He has
buddies.
And then speaking of middle school,
leather,
right? Yeah. I actually still have my middle school gym t-shirt. I assume it fits me because it is an extra large. It's extra large, and they were men's sizes. So
do you remember the cheer from track and field week?
I don't think I
back attack, wear it back, go McGregor, go, yeah.
I was actually talking to Kevin the other day because I go, water, 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 Lou, Lou, Lou.
Lou, Lou, Lou.
What are you doing? And I was like, that was our cheer. Water, water,
water,
Lou,
Lou, water, Lou,
water, 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 Lou, Lou, Lou. Because we were wanting
Vikings.
That was the other one. I knew there was something else, but I couldn't remember. And I was like, I knew it had to do with the Vikings, but I couldn't remember what it was. And it was just a Viking chop.
I wish I remembered our songs, because every school had a school song that we had to memorize, and I had every one of them memorized, and I wish I could remember them.
I don't think my middle school had a song. I know my middle school
definitely did.
It changed every district. Like every district was different, but my district was K through 4 was elementary, 5 through 8 was middle, and then 9 through 12 was high school. And I remember
that's weird. I remember that being weird when I saw that episode of Full House when DJ was going into grade 5 and they were talking about her going to middle school. I'm like, what the fuck is that? Middle school doesn't start until grade 7. Like,
that is really
weird.
I'm so jealous that like some people went to junior high. I'm like, I want to go to junior high. My mom was like, you're in 7th grade, you're in junior high. I'm like, yeah, but I want to go to separate junior high.
That's fair.
My elementary school had a song. It was just to the melody of Take Me Out to the Ball Game. I don't remember what my middle school song was. And then my high school, they taught it to us the last week of school, and it was so lame.
I think I remember liking my grade school and my high school songs. I know McGregor had a song. I just don't remember liking it or not.
Don't remember either.
Yeah, I was in chorus.
Unless we just had like a saying. Unless we just had like a poem or something. Like it wasn't a song, but we had something.
Yeah.
So I was in chorus when I graduated high school, and we had to sing like the school anthem, and every one of us had a sheet of paper because we didn't know the lyrics. The only time it was sung was at graduation.
Yeah.
Or like the first day of school during assembly.
Not even that. We would sing the Star Spangled Banner. Or My Country to Thee.
Makes sense.
Patriotism.
America,
where we pledge allegiance to our flag every day.
Pledge allegiance to the Hague.
Basically. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, so like you could tell the song was written in the 1970s. I mean, that's when my high school was built, but it sounded so 70s.
They usually do.
It just sounded very outdated. Nothing wrong with the 70s. It just sounded very outdated.
So
Steph, what's our next topic?
Rapid fire for some. My grade 9. So my grade 9 story as well, and then we'll do. I want to do some rapid fire interesting items. Oh,
you've been listening to Scott Patterson, haven't you?
What? No, actually, I haven't listened to that one yet. No.
Oh, because he does rapid fire with all of his guests.
Let's be real. There's a lot of podcasts that have done rapid fire stuff, so it's okay. But yes, I understand. So my grade 9 story is third day of school. These girls I've been friends with like grade 7 and grade 8 and everything like that. K and J. Well, K wasn't so bad. It was J that I got in the fight with. I ended up being in fights with these girls, grade 7 and grade 8. We were friends, everything like that. And for some reason on the third day of school, one girl, Jess, comes up to me and she's like, "Oh, why did you tell such and such that I peed your pants or something like that. And I was like, I don't even know who you're talking about. Like, I don't. And she was like, oh, you told him I did this. And I was like, I talked to the guy once or twice. I don't know what you're talking about. It wasn't me. Like, what the hell? And she got all mad up in my face. And I was like, if you're going to get up in my face for something I didn't do, like, whatever. So to defend myself, if she's, trying to fight, I start to fight back because I'm not going to let you
made the first contact?
I think she did.
Push you?
I can't remember. It's been so long. I don't remember. I just remember that I think at one point she tried to get me in like a headlock and I scratched her arm or something. Cause you're trying to get out and you're just like, whatever. So I scratched her arm or something.
I remember hearing about this and congratulating you about it.
Yeah. So we basically got hauled to the principal's office. I had to spend the whole afternoon in the principal's office. And then I got 3 days suspension on my third day of school. So of course, all of my teachers think I'm
grade 9.
Grade 9. Yeah. Of course, all of my teachers think I'm going to be some pain in the ass badass when really I wasn't. I was just like, I'm a good person. If I'm going to be provoked, I'm not going to just sit there and take it. And they had a no tolerancy policy. So even though I was defending myself, I was still whatever. So yeah, Lindy, a bunch of people, like I remember them like sitting in the like this principal's office just doing like nothing because it's the third day of school. What real work do you have to do? A bunch of people like, yeah, they're walking by like, we heard you got it. Oh yeah, good job. Yeah, it was so funny. I was just of course, obviously going into it, I thought I was gonna be like teachers were gonna hate me, but they ended up being okay afterwards because they realized it's not who I really was.
My teachers always compared me to my two sisters that they had before me.
Yeah.
And a couple of my teachers that went to that school with my dad and his sister and his brother.
Terrible.
I got compared a lot and I shot down a couple of them being like, I'm not my sisters, like I'm me, back off.
Yeah, I had that issue too. I mean, my brother is great, but he was a typical teenage boy goofing off and stuff. So every time I would find out that I had one of his teachers, I'd first do school. I'm like, hi, I'm Lindsay. I'm so-and-so's younger sister. I am nothing like him. And they'd be like, yeah, sure, whatever. And then like, oh, you're really not like him. And then except one time I missed, it was global studies. It was like world history. I forgot an assignment and my teacher went, you're just like your brother. And I'm like, the first assignment I
one action out of how many?
And mind you, I was on crutches that year. It was my sophomore year of high school. So I was in 10th grade and I was on crutches for most of the year because I destroyed my knee. And I must have had too many PT or doctor's appointments that night before. And I just completely forgot about that assignment. I'm coming in crutches. I'm like, I don't have it. You're just like your brother. I'm like, no, I'm not. It hurt.
Fuck you, bitch.
But now if I get compared to my brother, I'm like, okay, that's awesome. Cause he's like a really cool guy now.
I think only one teacher ever, not really compared, but there's only one teacher that ever realized me and Danielle were sisters. And it was our grade 7 French teacher because she was like from France French. I don't think she was from like Quebec French. And she would always call me Chiasson. I had no Stephanie Line. I didn't have a first name. It was Chiasson. And because I guess Danielle, like she had Danielle. And so she knew Danielle was always good. And I was a little like, not that I was a bad kid, but I was just a little bit not as like Danielle was very more academic than I was. So I was still smart, but I just wasn't quite as academic. I'd goof off a little more than her, but she would always just be like, Chiasson, what'd you do? And that's the only time I remember
our grade 7 English or grade 7 French teacher.
It was Mrs. No, that was my 5. But Danielle was also in
it would have been McGregor, right?
It was, but she was French immersion. So right, she had a different. She had the other French teacher.
Weaver was the grade 8 French teacher.
Jakubowski was my grade 5. I can't remember who my grade.
I don't remember my grade 7 French teacher.
It's gonna come to me once we're off this call. I can see her face too. Like I know who she is.
I'll look it up in my yearbook. Yeah. I still have them.
So I still have
rapid
them.
Fire?
Rapid fire planners on the first day of school. Wow. We all got them. We all decorated them.
Yep.
We all had them. Wallpaper or covering your textbooks with the brown paper. And then like decorating on that throughout the year.
With gel pens?
With gel pens, metallic or milky.
I'd go out and I would buy wrapping paper, like really thick wrapping paper.
Yeah, people did different things. Eventually they came out with a sticker. Yeah, the stretchy covers or stickers or things eventually they came out with. Book orders or book fairs, because there's usually kind of one around the first day in elementary, you got a book fair or a book order.
I cared more about those than Christmas.
Right.
That's where I got
all my Michelle and Stephanie Tanner books.
And our book fair, ours was always during the parent teacher interview week. So there was like 2 days where you weren't at school, but you could still go into school to go to the book fair and just look around or whatever.
Fairs?
Yes. Fun fairs were usually at the beginning of the year.
Fun. You get a dunk tank and everything.
Right. Not so much anymore.
So much fun.
And that, always. And then also meet the teacher, meet the creature night, where the parents would go in the first day and kind of all go into your classroom and sit there, and the teacher would introduce themselves and everything.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
High school. Do you remember coming home and sitting on MSN until dinner time or ICQ or whatever chat?
Messenger.
AOL Messenger. And then me and Kevin were talking about this one, and I found out they still have it, but I went on the website. the Book It program with Pizza Hut. If you
read
a certain amount of books,
and
you get a free personal pizza. Yeah,
Mhm.
me and Kevin were reminiscing a bit
of
at that. And they still do it, but I don't know if schools do it. But if you go to a website, the Book It program website still exists and they still do it.
They just shut down the Pizza Huts in this area, like all of them.
We just got a few.
We got Pizza Hut Expresses. So it's not the restaurant. It's just like a storefront now is what they are here. They got rid of all the restaurants.
Right around the corner from my neighborhood, and during the pandemic, it shut down. Yeah, it's like you guys have Toys R Us still.
Yes, we do. We do.
Yeah.
Jeffrey moved to Canada.
Right?
Yeah, you're gonna have to.
The first year that it shut down there, a lot of people came up to Canada to go to Toys R Us that Christmas because it was only like 2 or 3 months before Christmas that it shut down. So everyone was shipping up here to come Christmas shopping at our Toys R Us's.
I remember the turntables.
Jeffrey.
Tables turn.
The giraffe.
Oh, it was a Michael Scott reference.
Oh, sorry. I don't know who Michael Scott is.
The Office.
Oh, The Office.
I don't watch that.
I think it's The Office, or it might have been a Rickyism from Trailer Park Boys.
I don't watch that either.
I started to watch The Office with Kevin, and at first I didn't like it when it first came out, but now having worked in an office for a long time and then kind of getting into some of those more sort of dryish shows, I'm like, okay, it's kind of funny because I get the Office reference from working in the stupid office for so long. I could get some of them. Then I'm like, it's kind of funny now.
All right, what's the rest of your rapid fire?
I think that's everything else I got. Oh, except for I do remember grade 5 and grade 6 biking from school. Cause I actually was like a 20-minute walk from the school, but we weren't far enough for busing, which was stupid. So we had to take a bike every day to school. We were going to Sandown and we were by Conestoga Mall. And I remember biking, listening to Our Lady Peace on my first Sony Discman. It was Clumsy album. And then going to lunches to my mom's friend's Jen. She lived right beside, like the townhouse was right beside my elementary school. And I'd go there on lunch and we'd watch Sailor Moon and we'd like pretend to be Sailor Moon and everything and do her crown thing and all that.
Oh my gosh.
Those were my
me and my friends, we would walk home because there was me and two girls like Katie and Tiffany and me all lived in the same neighborhood. So we, on really nice days in the fall or in the spring, we would walk home together. It was like a 45-minute walk. Like when we had nothing else to do, or we would like maybe bus to the mall or something, or walk to the mall.
Oh, WCI, I walked home all the time because in the spring and summer, because it was just so nice. And you're with a group of your friends and you're with your friends. So you don't pay attention how long it is.
And the street that the school is on, like that is a good 20 minutes. And it's a beautiful street. It is. There are huge maples on that street, like a lot of nice
trees.
Houses.
There's some houses, some low apartment buildings, and just
it's a scenic walk. And then you just cut across the parking lot of the beer store, and then you walk down the path and
behind Albert McCormick. Yeah.
I grew up in the outer suburbs of
Buffalo. Totally giving people the ideas of where we lived.
We don't live there anymore, so it's fine.
That's true. We don't live there anymore, so it's fine.
I grew up in like the outer suburbs of Buffalo, so I'd always get, bus to school and stuff. But my senior year, I had like the last 2 class periods free. I didn't feel like sitting, and I didn't have my license at the time. So if I didn't feel like sitting at school for 2 hours, I would just, and it was nice out, I would just walk down the road. It was a pretty busy road. There were no sidewalks at the time. It's really dangerous. I was doing it in flip-flops, but 1:30, it wasn't too bad. It'd take 45, or when I first started doing it, it took 45 minutes. It was just, I had to take 2 really busy roads. And then by the time like the end of the school year came, I got it done in like 20 minutes.
Find the shortcuts.
I thought, my mom like was upset the first time. She goes, "Oh, how'd you get home?" I'm like, "Oh, I walked." She goes, "What do you mean you walked?" And then she got used to it. And I'm like, nobody's like checking to see who's like coming and going from the school. Like I had free periods, so.
Exactly. Why would I sit there for 2 hours if I have a free period?
Yeah,
it was like last semester.
My last year of school, I had a triple spare most mornings.
Yeah.
And so there was like maybe 2 of our 5 days, because we went day 1, day 2, day 3. We weren't like the
5 days
every day. We had a
5-day schedule
of a 5-day schedule. And so on 3 of those days I had a triple spare, and on 2 of those days I'd have either English spare and then lunch, or I'd have spare English spare lunch.
Oh.
So I missed like 7 months of English that year, because why the fuck am I going to get up to go to class for 55 minutes and I have to spend an additional 3 hours at the school without actually being in class?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not doing that. So like, I think my final grade that year was like 13%, but I had already had more than enough of my prerequisite 6 English credits.
Because that was also you were doing your OAC that year. Exactly.
It just brought down my GPA. Like, that's the only downfall I had from that, was it brought down my GPA. Which I didn't really care. I wasn't the best student. I coasted through school. I
remember my last semester, because I went to Blue Vale because I didn't want to do the 5-day. I wanted to do a semester so I could hopefully finish it for, a half a year. No, I ended up doing it the whole year. So I remember my final semester, because again, I didn't have much credits left to get. It was 2 periods spare, music, and then co-op. So at the beginning of the semester, you were there at school to learn the co-op and get your co-op placement. But then after that, you went to your placement. So I was literally at the school for an hour, and then I'd go to co-op placement. Like I had 2 spares, school for an hour, and then go to co-op placement. Yep. You're like, this is a waste of being at school for an hour.
That was kind of exactly like mine too.
Yeah.
My afternoon classes was a class like after lunch, and then my co-op was my last 2 classes of every day, or the last class of every day. And my co-op I only had to be in co-op class every Monday. Mm-hmm. But Tuesday to Friday, we were in our placement. So
you could just stay at your placement till whenever and go home from there.
I remember, last story. My first half of senior year, I had 3 free periods at the end of the day. So like 7th, 8th, and 9th were completely free. And I didn't want to risk leaving at noon and like having my mom kill me or whatever. But then the second half of the year, I had health class because it was only a half year long thing. And that was such a joke because half the time, like he would cover what he needed to, and then we'd have arguments over who had like the best meatball sub.
That's a great class, right?
Exactly.
That's things that matter.
These are the important things we should be learning in school. Not Pythagorean theorem. Who has the best meatball subs? Absolutely.
Exactly.
I agree.
I'd like to think that if I were a teacher and I was teaching a class where like we finished up the topic matter very quickly and we had time to kill, I'd like to think that I'd be the type of teacher to be like, okay, who has any life questions? Who wants to know how to do this? I could show you how to fucking like pump your own gas, change a tire or your own
balance
oil,
your checkbook or whatever it was back then.
Pay bills.
Yeah,
like how to budget. Like what kind of life lessons do you want to know? Relationship advice. Look for these characteristics, not these. If he does this, that's a freaking red flag. Like,
how does he know and be firm with it?
You always need a set of deal breakers.
Don't be afraid to be a bitch in order to be polite.
Yeah. Or teaching men how to respect women.
Yes.
Yeah. Don't put manners in front of being safe. If you have to be a bitch to be safe, be a bitch to be safe.
Yep. Absolutely.
Shit like that. Damn. #life lessons.
Take them, children. Take them and go with them. So is there any other, I guess, final back to or high school stories? I do also have, just because I wanted to say it here since we were talking about spirit sticks. Anyways.
I have one super embarrassing first day of class stories.
All right.
And if
white pants involved?
If you're not comfortable with women's bodies, I suggest you stop listening. So grade 10, I turned into a woman that July. Okay. I was a late bloomer. First day of school class. I was not theoretically supposed to get my period again for like another 2 weeks. I get out of the car. My mom drives away. I take 10 steps and I feel it in my khakis.
Oh,
I remember you wore khakis a lot. So that's why I was like, I know this.
I stopped and my friends who were right there with me, they're like, Lindy, what's wrong? And I'm like, I got my fucking period. So one of them was wearing a sweater. I wrapped their sweater around my waist and I booked it to the office. I called my mom and left a message on the machine. And then I continued to call her like every 5 minutes until she fucking answered, because I wasn't going to guarantee that she was going to listen to the machine before she went to school or went to work. And so I caught her. She had to bring me a new pair of everything. And it was so fucking embarrassing. Like grade 10. Luckily, it didn't last long, the embarrassment. Like by the next week, something else embarrassing happened to someone else. So
as it always does in the news cycles, especially in high school, there's always new gossip.
But, that first week of grade 10 was horrifying. It was so bad.
I did forget one last first day of school story, Lindy. My grade 11, your OAC year, where we went to go and see Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back on the first day of school.
Because your first day of school, you literally only have to be there for 5 minutes to get your class schedule.
Yeah, maybe an hour because you're there hanging with your friends. In class, you're only there for you get your locker. Your locker assignment, your schedule, what your classroom's going to be, your homeroom, basically. Like, and then you can go.
My first day of school was like a legit, like full day.
Only grade 9s have to stay until noon.
Only grade 9s, because the grade 9s all had to get orientation, and they all did their tours and everything like that first day of school. So to keep the rest of the students out of the way,
we had to come in the summer and do that.
No, we go on the first day of school.
We go the first day of school. So anyway, so so our first class, like we would have to be there, 7:55, I think was when school started.
I think the first day we were allowed to start later though. I think it was like 8:30 on the first day we started. Just the first day.
Because we didn't really need to be there that long.
Yeah.
And I think we ended up getting out of school before the mall even opened, because I think the mall opened at like 10 or something.
I think we went to your house and you had to we switched or changed clothes or something, possibly, maybe.
Keep in mind, neither one of us drove at this point. So we either walked or we took the bus.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we went to the mall. I went to Galaxy and we watched Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. Probably again.
Awesome.
Unless that was the first.
No, that was the first time we had seen it.
That was the first time.
And then because we got about like 5 minutes into it and we're like, they say fuck a lot. Let's count how much they say fuck now.
We stopped counting at close to 300.
Yeah.
I need to watch that again.
And that was
So
only
good.
halfway through the movie.
We were like, we're
I was
done.
thinking about putting it in the other day. Yeah, we ditched a lot of school for movies.
I've already, like I said this on one of the other ones in the summertime, but I ditched my grade 10 math one to go see Fast and the Furious when Galaxy had first opened and it was the first showing of Fast and the Furious at Galaxy.
We watched Fast 5 last night.
We watched Fast 9 yesterday. All right. So
so any last minute things?
Yeah, we got some last times here. Any last minute thoughts or remembrances?
Favorite teacher from school? Favorite teacher from high school?
Mr. Clarkson or Miss Moss?
Miss Dixon and Miss Richardson.
Ms. Carney and Mr. Hensel. Mr. Hensel is my earth science teacher.
And then I think
Miss Dixon was my my history teacher in grade 12. We were her very first class at a teacher's college, and there were 7 of us. She took us all to see Pearl Harbor when it came out.
I remember that.
And a cyclist cut her off, and she slammed on the brakes and goes, "Oh fuck!" And she's always been very careful about swearing in front of us and or when we swear, she yells at us. Like, swearing is a big fucking no in her class. So when this happened, we did not let her live it down. We did not let her live it down.
Ms. Carney was my 9th grade English teacher.
Mr. Clarkson was my grade 11 and grade 12, like drafting comtech. And then Miss Moss was the gym teacher, but I had her for leadership that year. And she was one of my favorites. My grade 5 teacher, Miss Jakubowski, was also one of my favorite teachers from elementary school.
Miss Richardson, I had a lot for history in like grade 11. I don't know if you remember her son, Matt. She was just so informative and she knew her shit and she taught us like the real history. And like, I remember a lot of the obscure movies that she found that she showed us that like really changed my perspective on world history and what happened in war and things like that. And like, she was just a wonderful teacher. All right. So I think that concludes. I think that's our time.
I think we're done. So thank you, Lindsay, for joining us on this
thank you
fun
so
back to school
much.
deep dive.
Thank you for having me.
Very much enjoyed having you.
I know, I miss you guys. If you need anything from America, like Steffi has my address.
Post Honey-O's.
I
don't think they sell them here. I've never seen them in any store and I miss them and I just remembered about them because I saw them.
Send me a list.
Yeah, send the list. Get it going.
Yeah, because I'm out of those Captain Crunches.
Oops, all berries. I can get you more.
It's never a problem. On that note,
right.
Thanks everyone for listening. You can follow us on the socials, Turn of the Millennials Pod, TOTM Podcast, all of that.
Anywhere you listen to podcasts, you can probably find us.
Spotify, Google, Apple, I think iHeart Radio, Amazon. We're getting
Pocket Cast. I listen to you on Pocket
Cast. And under our website, Millennials Podcast or millennialspod.com. I can't remember what it is. I go on
our
it all
Facebook page.
Yeah,
look for us.
And our Instagram has
rate
a link
and review.
Has a link tree. Yeah, rate and review us. Tell all your friends about us.
So our audios are also all on YouTube. So click, subscribe, rate, review.
I still have to put the 2 new ones up, but I'll get there. Don't worry. All the old ones are there, guys. So check those ones out. Listen, and we will see you, I guess, on our next.
Parents, enjoy your freedoms when your kids go back to school these next couple of weeks.
Yes, with vaccinations, it seems like everyone's going back to school with no possibilities
back to
of
normalcy.
pulling out.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
Enjoy it, parents, because we know you're going to be so excited.
All right.
All right.
Lindsay, thank you for being here.
Thank
you so much.
Thanks everyone for listening.
Everyone else around the world listening into us, you have a wonderful day.
Peace out from us.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone, for listening to this episode of our podcast. If you liked it, be sure to check out our previous episodes on our website at www.millennialspod.com. And also, you can check them out on Spotify, Anchor, Google, or Apple Podcasts. While you're there, hit the follow and subscribe buttons so you can stay up to date on all of our latest episodes. Also, you can follow us on all of the socials, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, at Turn of the Millennials Pod, and like us on Facebook to leave a comment and a review. We greatly appreciate it. We will see you next episode.